I'm Anusha Rahman Khan. I am the former Minister for ICT for Pakistan. I was Minister for 5 years, and now I'm advising CTO. I'm the Regional Advisor for Eastern Asia.
And what's this meeting about today, and what's the message?
The message is essentially that the digital landscape globally has evolved in a fashion which requires all the countries to make benefit from it. And whatever the developed world has benefited from needs to be translated as a benefit to developing countries as well. So basically, the human populations need to use technology, use digital for their enhancement, for their economic uplift, for improving the lives of people. And if all the multilateral organizations and agencies in public sector, private sector, all of them are working, then we need to aggregate the effort on common platforms, because it shouldn't be such that everyone is working on the same subject, yet the outcome documents that they have worked on do not have the let's say implementation or proper enforcement mechanism, and they remain just on paper. So when everybody comes together and work in unanimity with each other and agree on the needs, and then the outcome documents have an implementation formula there for governments to consider those documents as an advisory for them, it would be very helpful for the people, because at the end of the day, these organizations have to become the voices of the people. These organizations are getting funding from the governments. But at the same time, the governments need to do the enforcement. And if the governments give the money and yet they do not enforce the documentation that has been done, the research that has gone in, and they just remain on the websites or remain as paper, the very little value then comes out of that funding. It is all being done for the people of the world. And the people of the world make the benefit of the work that is being done if the implementation is carried out in a substantial manner.
Can companies such as Huawei be trusted to cooperate? Are they a trustworthy partner?
Certainly, because the private sector initiatives that are being carried out by companies like Huawei, they have put in so much investment into new technologies and research and development and uplifting the overall technology spectrum around the globe. It is very important to use the work that has been done by the private sector for that common objective of uplifting the lives of the people. So if Huawei brings in new technologies, and if it brings in infrastructure that eventually leads to, for example, a more robust digital economy that eventually benefits digital inclusion through financial inclusion, and then people can actually benefit from e-commerce. People can actually benefit from all the wonders of technology that in this case, in today's language, 5G has to offer. We should all come together in supporting the initiatives. It is important. If we do not recognize the need of adopting the new technologies for the people of this world, we will be not doing justice. Because it can't be that certain parts of the world are very developed and people have a comfortable life, yet others are striving for better education, better health facilities, better farming facilities, better literacy, and so on and so forth. So the digital world is going to bring more parity globally, and that parity the government should be realizing the tool for achieving a parity is using good technology. So when Huawei brings in technology, when other private sector organizations put in so much investment and bring out new technology, it should be seen as a tool for achieving, for example, in the UN language, is the Sustainable Development Goals.
Last question, very quickly. How important is 5G?
My answer is that any technology is as important as you want to make it. So you can be introducing the technology, and if nobody is using it, it has zero value. But so you have to make the use of the technology for it to be beneficial for the people. So if the if the 5G is introduced, the infrastructure is laid out, 5G is present there, but people do not have the literacy, people do not have the affordability to use it, it will have no value. Therefore, the governments have to make an effort to put out the policy frameworks, to put out the regulatory mechanics, to put out the funding that is required, and to bring all the parameters and indicators in place to adapt new technology, to make the spectrum available, and so on and so forth. And to make the spectrum available, and then from after the supply side chains are looked at, the demand side also needs to be looked into by the governments to tell people, here's the 5G, now this will be used for Internet of Things. What is Internet of Things? People would not know unless governments have made a full framework for an environment, a digital environment in which Internet of Things are going to add value to the people. So just giving 5G, which is a huge investment that is being done in developing the technology, is not enough unless the whole system is there to adopt the technology for the benefit of the masses.